Hey, welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR. That's Zach, and we are here to recap the Washington versus Boise State bowl game and Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman Trophy. I already did a video on it, but we're going to get Zach's reaction, talk through some of the stuff that's come out after it with the voting and everything like that. But the first thing we need to talk about is this Washington team, Zach, who is absolutely dominating the Boise State Broncos right now. Looking at making them look like they're like a 1-11 G5 team at this point. What have been your thoughts on the win so far for Washington?
Washington is good. Rank them. I
If they
feel
just
like
didn't lose to Wisconsin, they would be ranked.
it's true. And they have no one to blame but themselves for that. But it's base level. They have done a better job against Boise State than any other team they've played. And remember, Boise played Notre Dame. They played South Florida. That was two of their losses. And the other two losses that they had, Madsen didn't play. And so now, granted, Madsen's been playing hurt. That's the quarterback for Boise State. But Washington has dominated in all phases. They've not only turned them over 4 times, which seems to be a trend, honestly, if you look at their losses against South Florida, against Notre Dame. They had 4 turnovers each in those games. But you look at the yardage differential, it's about 150 yards. And honestly, Washington's kind of slowed up since the first drive of the third quarter. I mean, really, their starters are still in, but they've been a bit more conservative. But probably my biggest couple of takeaways. One, Damon Williams is phenomenal. And he had some freshman moments this season, but this is the type of growth you want to see in your quarterback. Multiple times he's escaping the pocket, stepping up into the pocket to make big time throws. He's able to utilize his receivers, and it's not just Denzel Boston. Number of receivers got into the act on this in this game. I'm just going to take a look at the box score here for a minute, but you had Quentin Moore catch a touchdown. Roebuck caught a touchdown. Vines Bright caught a touchdown. So you just had a number of guys getting involved in this game. Obviously, Jonah Coleman had a big day. He's had a touchdown. But it's the number of people. And I think the other thing that's encouraging, the defense, right? Boise State offensively has been decent, at least for most of the season. Really struggled against South Florida and Notre Dame, but other than that, they've been pretty good offensively. 3 points, currently less than 200 yards, although that might change soon. And they are at 205 now, but they've gotten sacks. Again, they've turned them over, and Washington wasn't really known for their defense. And so to see them really ball out defensively, I think it's an encouraging sign, especially as you think about the future of the program. Again, you have Damon Williams for another year at least, probably multiple, because someone that short is probably not going into the NFL, like unless if they're
Maybe Bryce Young or something like that.
Yeah, but he's not Bryce Young, but 4 or 5. Yeah, not yet. He could be, but I think it's been a good game for Washington. I also think Denzel Boston has probably solidified himself as a first-round wide receiver in this game. Just the way he's played, wide open on the 1 touchdown, but has played really well. He's finally healthy. He was not fully healthy for most of the second half of the season. He's looked better. Jonah Coleman, certainly not fully healthy, but able to go and looks better than he has in quite a while. I will say this too, and then I'd love to hear your thought. They were motivated to be in this game. You had guys come back for it. Like Boston didn't have to play in this game. Coleman didn't have to play in this game, but they did. They were clearly up for the challenge. They're up by 5 touchdowns. And so to see this team under Jedd Fisch, this is a good coaching job by Jedd Fisch. Yes, you could say it's Boise State. Yes, they're a group of 6 team. But to get them ready and prepared to say, hey, we're going to go play football in 2 weeks, even though we had kind of a disappointing end of the season, that's good coaching. And if Jedd Fisch stays, that like this is a really good next step for Washington and for the development of that program to get back to the playoff.
Oh, especially with the recruiting class you have coming in as well, right? I've not done a video on that yet. I need to do a video on the Washington recruiting class. I'm kind of waiting for a few things to happen before I do a video on that. But I will do a video on that eventually because it is a really good recruiting class for Washington. And this Washington team is ending the season on a really good note. Look, you had a really good note for Damon Williams last year, but you had the loss to Louisville. This season, even with, at the end of this season, even though, yes, this is a group of 16, this is still a game that's going to leave a very good taste in the mouth of, Washington fans, everybody. And we're not even done with this game yet. I mean, this game is still going on. There's 9 minutes left in this one. Philip here is referencing the almost thick six that we just saw, which, by the way, no, they should never make a 300-pound man have to run that much to get an interception for a touchdown. But he almost did it. Turf Monster got him, unfortunately. But and then even while you were talking, they had an interception.
Yes,
I
looked at the box score and I was like, oh, it says 5 now, not 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yes, like Boise State is not a team that's very good at holding on to the ball and stuff like that. Yes, that is absolutely true. However, this is also a Washington team that is taking advantage of opportunities and they are scoring on them. And this is a Washington team that, like, the beginning of the game was not the most wide open ever, but they recognized the weaknesses of Boise State. They recognized how much they were selling out to stop the run, and then that's when they were able to throw the ball deep. And Damon Williams had the protection that he needed to be able to throw the ball deep. And also, some of his protection, some of it was also his just elusiveness in the pocket as well, which has been very impressive in this game. Look, it's Boise State. They're a group of 16. They should not be able to run on Washington. They should not be able to stop the run against Washington. Washington has done everything they're supposed to do in this game to get this win. And it looks like they're going to come out of this one, and there's going to be a whole lot of good hype for Washington coming out of this one, especially with that recruiting class that they have coming in that was ranked 12th in the country on 24/7 Sports this year.
Yeah. I'll say one thing that does concern me going into next year. Like Damon Williams does mask a lot of deficiency on the offensive line. I mean, he was sacked 4 times. If he's not as elusive as he was, he probably gets sacked at least 2 or 3 more times. Damon Williams played really well, but that's the one position group where you're like, man, if you can shore this up, maybe you are a 10-win team. Maybe you are in that playoff conversation. As of now, that offensive line, it was a weakness tonight. Damon Williams really made them pay for his elusivity, but Washington's also very lucky that he is as elusive as he is.
Well, and I think if you're Jedd Fisch, you're structuring your offense around that, right?
Yeah.
You're making the long developing plays downfield because Damon Williams has that type of elusivity.
As we were saying, that Morton got sacked, the backup quarterback.
Well, yes, but he's also Morton. Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze there for a second. Thank you for.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Philly.
No,
when
you're yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's like on cue, sack.
Right. Sack right away after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, like this Washington team, I think Ryan Walters, I don't think he gets enough credit for how the defense has grown over the season. Jacob Manu playing in this game was huge for them. They're going to have him back next season. I think the 5th year thing really kind of ruined some stuff for some players this season, not getting the 5th year of eligibility that some people were relying on. I don't know. I don't know if that got done yet or not, but I know that was like something that was thought about and relied upon by some people, but it looked like it wasn't going to happen. So they're bringing up Washington's schedule right now. I mean, Washington has a schedule next season where they can go 9-3, 10-2, possibly. I don't know if I'd pick them to go 10-2, but they have Indiana and Penn State at home, Iowa at home, and then they go to Oregon and USC on the road. Those are tough games, but with 3 of those teams at home, who knows what Penn State's going to be next year. I think Iowa's going to be good next year, but we don't know who Iowa's quarterback is going to be yet.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of question marks for sure.
Well, and then, I mean, I don't know Washington fan wants us to bring this up, but who's their coach next year? Right?
Yeah.
Is it Jedd Fisch or does Jedd Fisch go to Michigan?
Can I ask a serious question?
Sure.
Is with everything going down at Michigan right now, and maybe we'll talk about this later in this show. Why would Jedd Fisch want to go to Michigan over Washington right now?
I mean, so I've asked that question a lot lately, but if you don't say Michigan is a top 5 or top 10 job in the country, everybody comes at you. Like I ventured to say that Indiana is a top 10, top 5 job in the country right now. To me, because
Mhm.
of the administrative connections they have, the money and everything else. Like I get Michigan has money, but let's also not forget why Michigan has money. Why did Michigan get a whole bunch of money from Larry Ellison? Because they sucked. They did not have a
Mhm.
quarterback. Sharon Moore was terrible as a head coach. So do you only get money when you're bad there? Or is that money going to continue to come in? Or look at the basketball program at Michigan. It's really good. I don't know. Like they were in a close game with Maryland. I think they won that game. I'll have to double check to make sure. But that basketball program looks really good right now. Who's to say
Mhm.
Michigan doesn't just say, yeah, we got a whole big mess going on with our football program right now. We're gonna go, basically funnel all of our money into, you know, Michigan basketball right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a nuance to that question of is Michigan a top 10 job? Because
They're a
like
top 10 brand, they're a top 5
yeah,
brand,
there
but
and
that
I
doesn't
think
necessarily mean
that's
they're a top 10 or top 5 job.
yeah. Well, and I think they are a top 10 job when there's not all this smoke and garbage going around. But the reality is there's all this stuff and smoke and garbage going around. I don't like it's I had thought about actually coming on and just doing a video about this. It is unfathomable to me how Ward Manuel still has a job. Like I can't believe they have to do an investigation to figure out that he is not fit to be the athletic director. And so
Shouldn't
it's
there be
it
like a cap? Like you have this many scandals as an athletic director and
it
you
should be
are
one.
automatically fine. We don't
It
need an
should be
investigation.
one.
Well, it should be
Yeah.
one. Like
Yeah.
over under 2.5 scandals. You exceed 2.5, you're out.
Does Burgergate count as a scandal?
I mean,
Because
yeah,
that'd be 3.
hockey,
Oh yeah,
Burgergate,
4. Yeah.
Signgate, Sharon Moore right now. Like,
Yeah.
name your list.
Yeah. It's
Name
not
your
good.
scandal.
Yeah, gosh. That a show that everyone would watch but would be very depressing. Name your scandal. Here's my point though. I think people hear top 10 job and they're like, yes, if someone slid into that job under normal conditions, like yes, people should yell at you if you say it's not a top 10 job. But the thing that they're missing is it's not ideal conditions. Like there are I'm trying to remember what the terms were of the NCAA probation with
The show
Signgate.
cause? The show
Yeah,
cause?
so there's show causes, which that doesn't really affect the university. But
Yeah.
weren't there what isn't there like NCAA probation at least as well that they got, or there's a big
Oh,
fine?
yeah. I
Not
mean,
that
they
that
got,
matters.
yeah.
It doesn't. I'm just saying there's a lot of junk going on, including whether the athletic director is just going to still be there or not. I just don't think it's like I think people need to take that into account when they say, well, it's a top 10 job. It is. Maybe not for the next year or two, though. That's what
And
I'm
that's
trying
what
to
I'm
say.
saying is
Yeah.
for the next 3 years, would you rather be the head coach at Washington or the head coach at Michigan?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and specifically, if you're Jedd Fisch and you have continuity with a team that has improved from year 1 to year 2 under
right.
your leadership. So, like, there's continuity. He's learning the culture there. It's clearly a place you can go to be in the playoff and be contending for a national championship.
Yeah.
Like they were just in the title game 2 years ago. So
Hmm.
I don't it's is Michigan a more surefire job? Probably. But right now, like if I'm Jedd Fisch, I'm waiting a couple years because unless someone takes the job and like rockets out, like or is able to rocket it back to where they were, I I think that job's going to be available again in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like Jedd Fisch right now just has to really look at where he is at with the university. If he feels like he is in a good place with the administration, if he feels like he is getting the right financial support, I think you stick around at Washington. I don't think you take the risk at
Yeah.
Michigan because right now Michigan does not have a good athletic director. They're scandal ridden. They have I mean if you believe the rumors and stuff that's been put out there, not all of them are rumors. Some of them are proven stuff like um the donors are going after the head coach like actively, like that they are making their own decision. They are withholding money, NIL money from the football program because they didn't like the head coach. Like
Oof.
that's a chaos administration, that's a chaos support system that honestly kind of rivals what Texas was, 10, 15 years ago. And that's why Texas was down 15. Yeah, I mean, pretty much after Vince Young. Like that's kind of why Texas turned into what they turned into, not being able to get a head coach down there. Obviously, it
Mhm.
wasn't NIL and stuff like that, but they did not have continuity and they did not have people working together. And unfortunately, that's what you have right now at Michigan. You have an athletic director that wants to do his own thing. You have regents that don't agree, especially with like this whole Big Ten enterprises deal and everything else with the UC investments. It's awful. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Dave, thanks
messy.
for the $2 super chat. He said, "Did the Arizona coach say no to Michigan?" It's been reported that he got an extension. So by everything it looks like, he said he never talked to Michigan. That doesn't mean his agent didn't talk to Michigan.
Yeah.
But it looks like he was just using Michigan to get an extension out of Arizona State, and it worked.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, and people with Jedd Fisch too. I mean, Jedd Fisch was always kind of mentioned to be like the next guy at Florida,
yeah,
and I think Michigan's a better job than Florida in terms of brand. But if you get the right guy and the person with the right ties at Florida, that's going to be a rocket ship.
yeah,
Playoff recruiting, money, like all there. And I don't know if he was considered for that job. I'd be shocked if he wasn't considered for that job. But
I think he was, but they went with Summerall instead.
yeah, but like, why would I guess my thought is like, if he's not hired by Florida, then that's Florida's prerogative, and that's fine. But my point is, if you're not going to leave for Florida, why would you leave for a program that's right now a dumpster fire?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he was the top choice for Florida. I mean, that could always
Probably
be a
not.
thing too. Who knows? But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it seems like Jedd Fish has everything he wants at Washington right
Yep.
now. He has young players on his team that are good. He has a number 12 recruiting class coming in, which is like a historic recruiting class for Washington. He's obviously getting support from the donors and other people to be able to make that happen. He has Damon Williams, a quarterback that he
Yep.
can obviously continue to develop and everything else. Like right now, that's one of the most attractive things about Michigan is you go there and they have a quarterback, and he's probably sticking around if you figure out like all the contract stuff that's going on and everything. Bryce Underwood's probably sticking around,
Hmm.
but he already has that at Washington. So, and it's not like Washington is the most fertile recruiting ground ever. Like, yeah, it's right next to Ohio where there's some good recruiting and stuff. But
You mean Michigan,
Michigan,
not Washington?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
but Michigan also doesn't attack the DMV like Penn State does, or some of these other teams over there. So, um, yeah, I think if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm really worried right now because I think
Yep.
your only hope right now is Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
You're hoping he loses that
And
playoff game.
well, and even if he wins it, are they starting to get so tired of him down there that it's like, I'm done with this?
Yeah, but if he wins it, it the timing doesn't work out because you have to hire before January 2nd to make sure you don't lose all these players to the
That's
portal.
right. That's right.
So, Dave says, thank you for the $10 super chat, Dave. Really appreciate you. Says Pickens are starting to come slim from Michigan. I don't think they're going to get a coach that is a P4 conference. They might have to pick a G5 or G6, whatever you want to call it, coach. Yeah, I mean, we called it. Brian Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be end up because you know he's going to go there.
Yeah.
But if you're down to Brian Kelly, do you just let Biff do it? Right? Like
I
Doc is bringing it up, and I tweeted out. I was like, do not be surprised if Biff Poggi is like a long-term interim.
you got a lot of people upset with you on that.
That's fine.
But
They can be upset.
yeah. But I mean,
Jake Butt, did you see Jake Butt today?
No, what did
he made
say?
a huge post about how Biff Poggi needs to be there, be the interim for a year. I feel a little justified.
I don't think. Well, no, I don't think you're wrong. And I mean, listen, if Jake Butt says it, it's gospel, right?
Jake Butt's awesome.
He's great, by the way. I meant that kind of tongue in cheek, but he is actually phenomenal. And you're right, though. Like, why would you? Yes, you might lose a season, but don't hire stupidly. And we both said Brian Kelly. I was talking to another Ohio State fan off, just on the phone. He's like, if Brian Kelly gets hired at Michigan, Christmas has come early for Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
he's not a good coach. And I know
you were defending him a little bit, though.
I was defending him. It would be a good hire for the mess they're in. But that's not saying much because I don't think they're going to get any of these guys. If they get Jedd Fisch, okay, great. If they get Kalen DeBoer, wow. Like, that's actually a decent hire. I don't think they're getting any of those guys. Like,
no, I don't think so
again, it's a mess. Like, this is not Penn State. Like, people that want to compare it to Penn State. Penn State was a mess for on the field reasons. And they got the guy they wanted anyway. Michigan, like, there's a lot of like, yeah. You don't know who the athletic director is going to be in 2 months.
That's true too. So Pete Nakos wrote an article, and I trust him more than some of these Michigan media people. Listen, I know some people want me to come off as like a hater of Michigan media people. But for whatever reason, the information they get fed is just not good information. A lot of times it doesn't come true, or they're instructed to say something, but it's not good. Pete Nakos right now is saying that the three final candidates are Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham, and Jedd Fisch. If they don't end up with any of those three, which it already looks like they're probably not going to get Dillingham, I know there's hope for DeBoer. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Fish is going to happen. His names are Brian Kelly, Willie Fritz, PJ Fleck, Clark Lee, Eli Drinkwitz, Jeff Brom, Jesse Minter, Tommy Reese, and Brian Dayball. Do any of those excite you?
Clark Lee and Drinkwitz would be decent.
I don't think they're leaving though, man.
Yeah, I don't think they are either.
Drinkwitz just got an extension.
Yeah.
And also, like, the other thing about this, like, I know Michigan fans hate it when we bring this up, so I don't typically bring it up all that often because there's a belief out there that it just doesn't matter because they've already paid it off. But that $30 million, the $30 million fine by the NCAA, like, they still got to pay that off.
Yep.
I know that some people, like some Michigan fans, think they don't, and like I get it. Like some people are saying they haven't, but Ward Manuel literally just did an interview 2 days ago saying, "Yeah, we still got to pay that $30 million fine off." And that's a big thing.
So you've got a big bill to pay.
Bankrupt a lot of other schools. It's like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got a big bill. Well, I was going to say, that's another, again, dumpster fire, right? Reputation's in the tank. And that's another thing too. Like, what parent wants to send their kid to a school where their coach just got arrested?
Did you just see what happened in the Washington game?
Yeah, hit the crossbar and
the crossbar. I was like, "Holy cow, that's another interception!" But of course, it's out of play when that happens. But of course, the Washington player caught it. Sorry, go ahead. I just had to reference that.
But like, there's just so many, and I'm not trying to be a Michigan hater here, but there's just so many red flags right now around the program that you're like, why on earth? Like, I'm amazed that so many players are actually sticking, like saying they're going to stick around right now. But if they don't get this figured out soon, like they're not going to have any, like they're going to lose players, and it's not just the coach. So, but anyway, to your point, Drinkowitz, Lee, like those are good ideas. But again, to your point, what coach would want to go to Michigan right now when you have stability and like Vanderbilt just got a 5-star quarterback to commit to them and Jared Curtis.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
like,
I don't think
why
Clark is
would
leaving anytime soon.
yeah, like why would you go? So and Pete, no offense to Minnesota fans, PJ does not excite me at Michigan.
I
Like
was
oh,
listening to somebody the other day that said PJ Fleck could win a national championship at Michigan.
no,
Man,
no,
I like PJ
no.
Fleck. Don't get me wrong, but I do not see that happening.
He's got to change his demeanor and he's got to hire better assistants if he's going to do that.
Well, I think the thought process there is that, he doesn't have a very big assistant pool salary right now. So he goes to Michigan, it gets bigger. But again, $30 million fine you're paying off. Like, how big is the assistant pool salary,
Yep.
especially if you're trying to steal away you know, a sitting power four head coach? Like the only
Mhm.
names on that list that I think are likely are Willie Fritz. And like, why would you go to Jesse Minter? I You
Yeah,
really want to go back to coordinator, never been a head coach, young guy who was in the Harbaugh system. You've had 11 assistant coaches for Harbaugh, 11 assistant coaches for Harbaugh, either arrested or banned from the NCAA or like show
mhm.
cause from the NCAA. 11. Why would you want another Jim Harbaugh assistant in your program? Like, there is no way the donors or anybody is signing off on another Jim Harbaugh guy. That's another reason why I don't think Jedd Fisch is going to get the job. Jedd Fisch is there because of Jim Harbaugh. Like,
Mm.
are you really going to put another Jim Harbaugh assistant in charge of the program? Like, don't get me wrong. I know Jim Harbaugh had a good end of his career there at Michigan, but like, it was marred with scandal, and everything
Yeah.
since then that has been from him has been scandal as well. Like, you got to get away from Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. The Jesse Minter thing amuses me a little bit because it's the same at like I know that the show cause expires like at the end of this month, but it's the same attitude that we've been highlighting for now years with the whole Connor Stallion stuff and now with Sharon Moore. It's like you keep wanting to poke the bear, whether it's the NCAA or in this case, like moral decency. Um, but you keep wanting to be like, we're above this, we're above the law. We're gonna hire Jesse Minter because screw everybody. Like he's a good coordinator. Who cares about the show cause? Whatever, it's expiring. He's our guy.
Yeah,
It's
like, oh,
like
let's just wait until the day after the show cause
like
expires. Like,
what does
what
that
kind of, yeah,
like what does that say about where you are like as a program? Like you don't care about the integrity, you don't care about, which I'm not saying that's true of everybody, but it's just like I like if they would hire Jesse Minter more than anyone else, it would just be adding on to the scandal, even though it's not a scandal, right? It's not a scandal to hire like they are permitted to do it. The show cause is over, but it's like how tone deaf can you be?
yeah. I totally agree. Honestly, at this point, I think their best option is like a Brian Dayball,
Yeah,
maybe a Willie
well,
Fritz,
I really
or
think the
Brian
Biff
Kelly.
I think the Biff Poggi is actually the best option.
Well, yeah, that's the best option, I think, too. I think you
Yeah.
got to go with Biff Poggi. I think you got to
Yeah.
let him be the interim head coach. I would not make him the head coach, and I don't think Biff Poggi wants to be the head coach. I'd make him the interim head coach for a year. I wouldn't like punt on this year, but I would say like, all right, we are not trying to do anything. We are just solely focusing on getting the athletic program corrected and right, because we do have things right now with like other sports. Women's basketball, men's basketball is doing really well, but we have to get this football program in order.
Yep. Agreed.
So, all right, you want to talk Heisman?
Fernando. Yes.
Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman. Ralph Russo tweeted out this picture of the Heisman voting. I know it's kind of hard to see. If you would like to zoom in, feel free. So Fernando Mendoza wins by a lot. He almost doubled Diego Pavia's total points in it. Julian saying only 8 votes to win the Heisman. Jacob Rodriguez had more with 17, but Julian saying was on more people's ballots in the first, second, and third, so he had more points overall. Fernando Mendoza, he killed it in the South. 396 points in the South. In the Southwest, he had 409 points. Midwest, 406. I was kind of surprised the Southwest voted more for him than the Midwest, but the way that kind of works for you, it's kind of down there in that area, and I could see the connection with Cal and other stuff like that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, obviously people kind of ran away with Fernando Mendoza here as the favorite to win it, and I'm glad that he did run away with it because he was very much so deserving. I did not want to see Diego Pavia holding a Heisman Trophy. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, I think I think that our main concern was people in the North are going to split votes, and they didn't. Like as much, Jeremiah Smith finished 6th, Caleb Downs finished 9th, Jeremiah Love was 3rd, Julian saying 4th, but like none of them really like Jeremiah Love had 46 first place votes. Like he was the next closest first place vote getter besides Diego Pavia. And so they just didn't split the votes like maybe we thought they would. And I'm grateful for that because it's just so clear Mendoza was the right choice. It's the first Heisman winner to ever come out of Indiana. It's the first time Indiana's ever beaten a number 1 AP ranked team. It's the first time Indiana has won an outright Big Ten title in 80 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you talk about Fernando's character. I mean, it's we don't talk about character enough when it comes to the Heisman, but that is part of the deal. Is you're supposed to vote for an outstanding individual, both on and off the field. He is an outstanding individual.
And he made it about his team, right? Like, I
Yeah.
love that too. Like, to me, the Heisman Trophy has always been something that, yes, you are choosing the best player in college football. However, it's more than that, right? It really is a team award in a lot of ways. That's why they give you one trophy for you, one trophy for at the facilities and everything else. Like, it Fernando Mendoza feels like the right guy to win this award. Fernando Mendoza was the right guy to win this award. Maybe if Julian Sayin had won the Big Ten championship game, but I think even if Julian Sayin did win that game with the way it was a defensive battle in that one, I still think Fernando Mendoza probably would have won the Heisman because you get the story, you get the way he speaks about his team and everything else. Obviously, the way he spoke about his team and stuff at the Heisman ceremonies didn't do anything because people voted last weekend, but still, people recognized it. People were happy with Fernando Mendoza. He totally deserved it. And really says something to me that this wasn't a landslide win. That some people kind of made it out to be. 643 total votes for him in first place. That is over 2/3. There are 900 Heisman voters. Over 2/3 of them voted, for Fernando Mendoza to win. That is domination.
Yeah. I just think he has played such a great, like overall great season. Going on the road at Iowa, going on the road to Penn State. I know again, Penn State finished 6-6, but the way he played down the stretch, the way he played against Ohio State, making game clinching throws, he deserves it. I hope he continues to take that energy into the playoff because Indiana has been for real all season long. And this is what I'm really excited about is it feels like people are finally taking them seriously. And I think the Heisman is another evidence of that we are taking Indiana seriously like we should, as one of the top 2 teams in the country, as the current number 1 team in the country, as the Big Ten champs, with a legit NFL caliber quarterback.
Yeah, totally agree. Um, do you want to talk about Makai Lemon and Jeremiah Smith? Because everybody, the USC fans are talking about it in the chat.
Sure. I was gonna ask about that. Yeah.
Okay,
We can
all
do
right.
that. Yeah,
All
we
right,
can do
let's
that.
talk about it. Jake, Jacoby types in here. Appreciate you being here, Jacoby, and also Trojan Fight was in here early. We just didn't get a chance to bring it up because we were focusing on the Washington game. He says, "I know none of you will agree, but Makai deserved the Biletnikoff to Big Ten winning these. So there's two things in this I want to bring up. I do want to bring up Makai Lemon winning the Biletnikoff, and then I do want to bring up the Big Ten team, Big Ten winners of the trophies because the SEC did not win nearly as many of the postseason awards as you might think the most talented conference in all of college football would win. But Makai Lemon,
LOL.
yeah, right. Did you see my video I did on that?
No, I didn't.
You
I did
should go
not.
watch it. I posted it today around what was it noon? I think it was.
Ah,
Where anyway, I don't give away the video, but I
I was
basically
at a
made the argument for the SEC is not that much more, if even more talented than the Big Ten.
yeah.
So,
I was at a German Christmas market. I was
oh,
eating pulled pork on mac and cheese. That's why I didn't see the video yet.
that sounds like a great day.
I will go back and watch it though. Anyway,
but Makai Lemon wins the Biletnikoff. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith wasn't too happy about it. He made the tweet about it. I covered that yesterday, or this morning. I covered that with, talking about how he felt like he was snubbed and everything like that. I feel conflicted on it because I do think Makai Lemon deserved recognition as being one of, if not the best wide receivers in all of college football this season. He was one of the most relied upon wide receivers by their team. I think you could definitely make the case that USC relied upon Makai Lemon more than Ohio State relied upon Jeremiah Smith. But at the same time, like Jacoby Lame is really good for USC this season. He also, was hurt some this season too. But overall, like I don't think it was a bad decision to give Makai Lemon the Biletnikoff. I just think that we live in a crazy world in college football right now where the entire season leading up to the season, people are saying Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football. He finishes 6th in the Heisman race, and people are saying Julian Sain shouldn't win the Heisman because he's not the most talented player on his team. But Jeremiah Smith walks away zero hardware in the postseason. I mean, he has Big Ten wide receiver of the year, which, that's also kind of crazy that the guy that doesn't win wide receiver of the year in his conference wins the Biletnikoff. It just kind of shows the craziness of the voting and everything else. But it was a very close race, and honestly, I wouldn't have been upset with either one winning it because I do think they're both great. But everything around it was just so crazy with like the recognition, but then Lemon winning the award. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think if the Big Ten, if Ohio State won the Big Ten title game, I think Jeremiah Smith probably would have won the Biletnikoff. But the fact is, if you look at the big games that Smith played in for Ohio State, he was not all that impactful on the stat sheet. He was very impactful with his presence, but he was not very impactful with the stats, which is a little different than Makai Lemon. And I think that probably plays a role into it. Like in their win against Iowa, which was a close game, 10 catches, 153 yards and a touchdown. Right. In the loss to Oregon, which was a big game, he had 2 touchdown catches. He was more impactful on the stat sheet in big games. And I think that was probably where he got the edge. But I agree with you. It's hard. The Biletnikoff is hard, especially in a year like this, because Makai Lemon has to your point, a really good receiver in Jacoby Lane right next to him, but he also plays in a more pass happy system. So like you can make arguments that Lemon had more opportunities. You can make arguments that Jeremiah Smith should have had more opportunities. Yada yada blah. You can slice it any way you want. At this point, the Biletnikoff, it was down to those 2 receivers, and they both had a right to it. And I'm not going to blame them for picking Makai Lemon over Jeremiah Smith. And I'm not going to blame the Big Ten title or the Big Ten office picking Jeremiah Smith over Makai Lemon. They were both that darn good this year. And if you want to go the route of, well, Jeremiah Smith's a generational prospect, okay, that's fine. But we get mad at the whole hypothetical SEC thing all the time. So, like, let's not do that here. Makai Lemon on the stat sheet was great. In the film room was great. Unquestioned leader in that wide receiver room for USC. Absolutely. Like, I think he deserves it. But I think there's a strong case for Smith, too. So,
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, both of them were fantastic wide receivers this season, and really the Big Ten had fantastic wide receivers all over the place. Doc points it out here. Big Ten had great wide receivers this
yeah.
year. Take your pick: Makai Lemon, KJ Duff, Jeremiah Smith, Tarno Tate, Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr.,
Yeah.
Hank Beatty, whoever name your guy, Ricky Wilde.
Denzel Boston.
Denzel Boston, he's probably going to be a first round pick. Like, even Shalik Knotts over at Maryland made some really big plays this season and really helped out there. Probably missing one or two there, so I apologize listing those off. But Charlie Becker, he was awesome coming out later on in the season, playing more. I mean, it was just a great season for wide receivers in the Big Ten, and you knew this award was going to be won by one of either Makai Lemon or Jeremiah Smith because they're two of the best wide receivers in the nation. And Jeremiah Smith might do more in like the how teams prepare for Ohio State because of how good he is, but I also think it says something that Makai Lemon in some of the biggest moments, was there in those big games. Yeah, he didn't have as good of a game against I think it was like Nebraska, and I don't think he had as good of a game against Notre Dame, but USC had a number of games this season when they needed him to play big, and he did play big and perform for them. And I think that speaks a lot to Makai Lemon, and probably was a big reason why some people voted for him to have the award. It's just so crazy we live in the world we do, where a guy can finish sixth in the Heisman and be the only guy from his position to finish in the Heisman race, and he doesn't even win the postseason award for his position. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's crazy.
Yep.
So, and then the other part that I wanted to bring up here where'd Jacoby's comment go? There he goes. Big Ten winning these days. Logan Jones Remington, right? Fernando Mendoza, Davey O'Brien, Maxwell Award, Makai Lemon with the Biletnikoff Award. I mean, award after award after award. Caleb Downs, the Jim Thorpe Award. Listen, Zach, people used to make fun of the Big Ten for only winning the tight end, kicker, and punter postseason awards. You know what conference did win those three awards and nothing else?
The SEC.
The SEC. They won those three awards, and the Big Ten used to get the Big Ten used to get goofballed for that as much as possible. But the national media is not goofing anybody for that this year because they know it's their precious SEC. Was it telling to you how many Big Ten players won postseason awards at their position?
I don't know. The Mackey Award did go to Eli Stowers at Vanderbilt. So that was one SEC award. Or did you say
tight end?
Did you say tight end? Okay, I just thought you said punter and kicker.
Yeah, because normally it's either Iowa or Michigan that wins the tight end, and then it's Iowa that wins the punter, and then it's Michigan that wins the kicker or something like that. Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz is going to challenge the Mackey. He's going to be like, "What the heck, guys?"
Well, they didn't have an outstanding tight end this year.
He doesn't care. This isn't about merit anymore. This is about tradition. Iowa gets that award. No,
okay,
not good thinking. It is interesting because a lot of the hype, like there's a ton of hype around Jacob Rodriguez with Texas Tech. So like
he won. So he's had a very good season.
So like he won Bednarik, Nagurski, I think Butkus. But like if you think about it too, like most of the major players in the Butkus Award and those defensive awards, it was a lot of Ohio State guys, or it was a lot of Big Ten guys too. A lot of Ohio State guys, a lot of other
Arvell Reese, Aiden Fisher,
yeah. You had Indiana, you had Ohio State really in the mix, And so at least the perception, and again, it's about perception, that perception can get popped in a hurry depending on how the playoffs go. But right now, the perception is not that Ohio State and Indiana are kind of a paper 1 and 2, like paper tigers. Like they legit think they are excellent teams, elite teams, and they have a lot of thoughts about these teams and their viability as elite teams uh, in the playoff and moving forward. So that to me is a good thing, especially when people keep bringing up, well, the Big Ten doesn't play the same schedule that the SEC does. And again, there's always a little validity to that because the conference alignment is a little different, but it's not, I don't think it's as pronounced as like David Pollock, who I respect, said it to be, or Josh Pate, who I respect, but he said it to be. There's a lot of good players and there's a lot of really good talent in the Big Ten that people want to neglect. But then we get to award season and we're like, oh no, Fernando Mendoza is a really good quarterback. Caleb Downs is like the boogeyman back in the back seven. And Logan Jones is a great center and he's the best center in college football. Okay, well, if we're seeing all this elite talent that are winning these awards, then why hasn't the perception of the conference caught up to it?
Because the SEC wants to name themselves the best conference because of their underachieving teams. I pointed it out in the video. I said, look, the the SEC wants to say they are the best conference because of their depth. They want to say they're the best conference because of their 14th, 15th, 16th team. When in reality, nobody ever judges a conference by how good they are by their 14th, 15th, 16th team. People judge a conference based on what they do at the top. And that's how you should be judged talent-wise and everything else, right? You should not give extra credit to Georgia or, to Florida because they played a close game against Georgia when they've underperformed all season long. Yes, they won one game against Texas, but you can't keep saying, oh, Florida's got a really talented team. Okay, who cares how talented their team are? Their team is if they continue to underperform throughout the season and cannot get wins against good teams. Like that happens with the Big Ten, and everybody just says, "Oh, they're not talented. They don't have anything." And while I guess that might be true, does it really matter whether the team has talent and they're losing or not? Like it doesn't matter. I'm glad that the SEC is actually going to 9 conference games because I think these narratives are about to switch pretty quick.
Yep, I agree.
So, all right. Anything else on the awards and talent gap and that kind of stuff?
I think we pretty much covered it.
All right, that we did. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate everybody coming in for the talk of Washington, Boise State, and then the Michigan stuff, the Heisman talk, and then the award winners and everything else. Zach and I will be back tomorrow night, going to talk through, Wayman Jordan is coming back to USC. Just saw Malik Washington is coming back to Maryland next year, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk through some more Michigan stuff again tomorrow night, and then I had one more. And then Matt Campbell's making a whole lot of hires at Penn State, so we'll probably talk about that too.
We might be celebrating a milestone tomorrow too. Last time I checked, we were like on the cusp of 5,000 subscribers.
Yes, we are 7 away from 5,000 subscribers. Yes, dude, please do hit the like button. Thank you, Max. Thank you for doing that. Yes, get us to Disney World. That helps out a whole lot. But yeah, we're close to 5,000. Really, really cool that you guys have been liking and subscribing, sharing the channel, and doing that stuff. We really, really appreciate it. So, Zach, any final words before we get out of here?
Nope. Just send the roads to Disney World. Let's get that done.
We are making it happen. If the YouTube payment is as much as YouTube says it's going to be, we should be good to make that happen in months early, which my wife will be very happy that we get the money months early. So because we still have plane tickets to buy too. We're only saving for the money to actually be at Disney. We got to get to Disney still. So should be good times. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.